Today we're going to go over a product called TSL. It stands for throat seal lubricant. Basically the throat seal lubricant is designed to go into the system here, the wet cup ISO lubrication system on the Graco reactors. So basically it has the TSL in this cup here. It gets sucked up through these tubes into what they call the wet cup on the A side pump. Now that's designed to wash the ISO off the shaft of the pump, keep it nice and clean and lubricated so it doesn't crystallize and you don't have any failures. The lubricant is supposed to be a clear lubricant. It shouldn't be all milky and thick like this. So whenever this cup here starts to get thick, milky, creamy looking, or chunky, you want to replace that fluid. So all we have to do is unscrew this cap here. You can see how milky looking that is. I'm just going to pour all that out. And then the bottom, it's all thick and chunky. We're going to wipe that out with some paper towel. So put this right back up here. Just put my bucket under here for a minute so it can drip in there. Just going to take some paper towel and wipe out the inside of that. Some new paper towel. It's pretty dirty in there. You can see that's pretty clean. As long as you get all the chunks out of there, you'll be good to fill that back up. Now I'm also going to give the quick wipe down here on the end of this system. You give a little filter and a check ball. You want to just make sure you wipe all the gummy stuff off the end of the filter. Just give it a good wipe. Also on this side, just make sure the end of there is nice and clear. Okay. So we're going to fill this guy back up. This cup here doesn't have to be full. It's pretty much about half full is where you want to be. So just pour some of this stuff in here. Right there, about half full or so. That's all you need. Thread it back on. Just put it back in the holder on the side of the machine. And that's it for the A side wet cup fluid changeover. Next up, we're going to lubricate the B side pump. The B side pump doesn't have the wet cup washing system like the A side does, but what it does have is on the top of the pump here a felt washer. Basically, you want to put a couple drops a day of TSL, the same throat seal lubricant as we used on the A side. You want to put a couple drops a day right into that felt just to get it nice and wet. So come down here, right on top of the felt, a couple drops, and that's it. Your B-side pump's all lubed up, ready to go. We're just going to do a little bit more of daily maintenance here. A good thing to practice doing is putting a little bit of just regular old air tool oil inside your transfer pumps daily. Just a couple drops into each pump. Today we're going to go over the startup of the E-XP2i machine. It'll be exactly the same startup for an E-30i machine. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure our breaker on the side is turned off. Our big red breaker switch right here. Make sure that's in the off position. That's off right there. Once we confirm that that switch is off, we walk over to the main switch for the generator. We hit the green button twice. It's going to power up, start up. If you come in here a little bit, we're gonna watch this right here. Once that hourglass is gone, it's safe to turn the main power switch on. The hourglass is now gone. We got our little motor symbol here. It's now safe to turn on the main power. So go over to my main switch here on the right hand side, turn that switch on, and we're powered up. Next step is to come over to our main screen here for the motor control, temperature control. Hit our on button, it'll say active up in the left hand corner. The first thing we're going to do is turn on our hose heat. That takes the longest to warm up. Hose heat is right here. Our green light will come on. Up. After the hose heat is turned on, the next step, we're going to turn on your main air for the machine. The main air for this machine is located on the right hand side. There's a ball valve right here. This is your air ball valve. Make sure that's in the on position, straight up and down. What we're going to do next is come over to our gauges, confirm that we have air pressure. Right now we have 110 psi in all our gauges. Our air pressure is good, ready to go. Now that we confirm that we have air pressure, we're going to come to our transfer pumps and we're going to turn each one of these on. Now right here is called the needle valve. All the way in is closed, all the way out is open. You either want to have them all the way off or all the way on. So open that valve all the way up. That's as far as it will go. We'll come over to the other pump and we'll do the same thing. Now that those are open, we're going to go to our machine. We're going to make sure that our ball valves are open for the A side and the B side. So we got our A side ball valve right here. That stops fluid from going to the machine from the transfer pump. So we're just going to open that one. And we're going to open up the B side as well. What we're going to do is we're going to basically wait for the hose to warm up and for the engine to warm up. Our hose temperature right now is 59 degrees. We need to give that about 15-20 minutes to set temperature. And before we can turn on the main A and B heater, the motor needs to be in operation temperature. So this arrow here needs to be in our green. Green means good to go. So we're going to wait for that to warm up. So in about 15-20 minutes we'll be back and we'll go over the rest of startup. So now we're going to start the machine up. Our temperatures are pretty much all up to temp here. So we're going to come over our main power switch, get our pump switch on. Our pump switch is now on. Right off the bat we got our pressure and balance. So if we look down at our analog gauges down here, you can see we're about 1100 psi on the A side, about 550-600 psi on the B side. So what we have to do is bring these pressures back down to zero. So we're going to go to the end of the hose on the gun, pull the gun off, bleed the pressure off of each side, then we'll come back with a fresh start and we'll power that machine back up. Now to fix our pressure imbalance problem, what we're going to do is pull the gun off the end of the hose manifold here and open one side at a time very carefully. Make sure you're wearing your safety glasses, proper safety protection, and we're going to lower the pressures down. Get them both back to zero, then we're going to fire the machine back up, make sure our pressures aren't equal. Take the gun off, you got the one screw in the middle right here. I'll do that. Our gun is off the manifold. Come down here. One side at a time very carefully because there is pressure in there. back down to 0. I'm going to mount our gun back up. Single screw in the center once again, tighten it nice and snug. Okay, and we're going to go back to the machine and pressure it up. Okay, now that our pressures are back down to 0, as you can see right here on our analog gauges, we released our pressure on both sides. They're both pretty much at 0. We're going to come back up to our main screen and we're going to hit that pump back on. Alright, now it's pressured up. We're going to come down and look at these one more time. Looks like we're about 1300 psi on both sides. We're ready to go, and there's one last step before we spray, and that is to do a quick little test spray while you have another worker or a partner watch these gauges as you spray. So we're going to make sure when the gun's being sprayed that we're within 200 psi of these main gauges. So we're just looking at these right now. We're about 950 on the A side, 1,650 on the B side, give or take. We're within our 200 psi and we are good to spray. That's the startup of the E-XP2i machine.